The value of human life varies widely, and the Israel-Iran conflict has made that painfully obvious in just 12 days. This clash pushed the world to the edge of a global war. Around 900 people died in Iran, including leading scientists and top military officials. In Israel, the toll was much lower, around 30, possibly rising to 50 or 60. Yet, these 50 to 60 deaths were enough to pull the U.S. directly into the conflict. For the first time ever, American B-2 bombers dropped bombs on Iranian territory. 50 to 60 deaths were enough to prompt Donald Trump to shift focus away from domestic issues and push, through pressure, persuasion, and political maneuvering, to bring about a ceasefire between Israel and Iran, because the stakes were massive. On one side was Israel, considered close to America. On the other, Iran, which had vocal support from powers like China and Russia. This ceasefire, however short-lived, has been celebrated by the global community. Trump is again envisioning himself as a Nobel Peace Prize recipient. The world is learning something. When powerful nations, especially nuclear ones like the U.S., choose peace, even in crisis, peace is possible, even when the death count is relatively low. But when the issue is Gaza, even the deaths of 500, 5,000, or 50,000 change nothing. No rush to intervene, not even for 17,000 dead children. The international response? At most, strong condemnations from the UN or ICJ. For nearly 2 years, a public campaign of mass killings has taken place in Gaza. Some believe that the Israel-Iran ceasefire might influence the situation in Gaza. That maybe world attention will shift. But the Israeli military believes they've sent Iran a strong message, delayed its nuclear ambitions, and now it's time to turn their attention back to Gaza, which simply means more destruction, more death. Why? Because Gaza lacks allies with nuclear weapons, lacks oil trade power, and hosts no foreign military bases. It has no global protector to defend Gaza. What's needed is empathy, which is sadly missing from both governments and people. In this Deshbach episode, we won't go into Palestine's backstory, or the two-state plan, or historical debates. About Israel, we just want to ask one thing. Has our sense of humanity completely vanished? Has the ability to distinguish between right and wrong completely faded? Can we at least agree on this, that the ongoing mass killings must stop? Before anyone jumps in with, "What about Hamas?" let me save you the effort. I surrendered that debate already, even 21 months ago. We asked this: if Hamas carried out a terrorist attack on October 7th, killed 1,100 people, and kidnapped 250, some still captive, does that justify wiping out an entire population? Is ethnic cleansing an answer to terrorism? Can a whole population be punished for the crimes of a few? Is the death of 17,000 children a form of justice? Does starving an entire region into famine stop terror? Or does it simply strip people of their humanity and leave room for land grabs? If Israel can do all this without any checks, and neither Biden nor Trump are intervening, then is even speaking against it now a punishable act? In this era, has questioning a genocide become off-limits? Across the West, in schools, media, and workplaces, speaking about Gaza has become dangerous, risky enough to cost your job or career. You can't express solidarity. You can't hold signs. You can't even wear supportive clothing. You'll be labeled anti-Semitic, even though many Jewish people themselves say Zionism is distorting their faith and openly oppose what's happening. Major companies like Meta, Apple, Facebook, they too suppress voices speaking for Gaza. Just using the word genocide can end your career. In places like the US, UK, and Germany, where freedom of expression once thrived, it's now being suffocated. As a student of history, I used to wonder how Hitler managed such cruelty, how the world stayed silent, how people were misled. Now I understand. It's not hard to silence the world. It's not hard to mislead people. Because Hitler didn't vanish. He just changed roles. Thankfully, some cracks are appearing. Some Western media are finally asking, why is everyone so silent about Gaza? Asking questions about mass killings isn't anti-Semitic. It's human, even non-political. Jews now clearly say, this is genocide. Not religion. We've shared a link below that explains how. Anti-Zionism and anti-Semitism are different. This is bigger than just universities. The entire liberal West, which once championed democracy and freedom, now stands exposed. What will they say now? Back in January 2024, the International Court of Justice concluded that Israel's actions in Gaza may qualify as genocide. They ordered immediate humanitarian access, food, water, medicine. That was more than a year ago. Israel ignored that order entirely, blocking aid under the pretext of targeting Hamas. Later in December 2024, Amnesty International stated it had sufficient evidence proving Israel was committing genocide, not targeting terrorists, but civilians. Israel can strike Iranian leaders 1,000 kilometers away. But in Gaza, entire neighborhoods are demolished using cheaper bombs. Since precise ones are too costly, they claim Hamas hides under hospitals, so they destroy hospitals. No Hamas command center has ever been found. They tell civilians to move to safe areas, then bomb those too. Isn't that genocide? More UN workers have been killed in Gaza than in any conflict since World War II. Were they Hamas too? Even while the Israel-Iran war raged, Israel continued killing in Gaza. Over 1,000 people died there, unnoticed. Still, we're not supposed to use the word genocide? What's happening in Gaza mirrors Nazi-era concentration camps. Only this time, it's live-streamed. Everyone sees it and still looks away. Don't show this. It's too depressing, the world says. Show us dances or comedy instead. There's no doubt Netanyahu will harden his approach toward Gaza. His political future is uncertain, and every time it's challenged, another strike begins. Now there's talk of relocating Gaza's population, shifting them out and rebuilding the land like a real estate project. It may sound absurd, but with today's pace, it's possible. Netanyahu claims it's not about land or greater Israel, just national security and rescuing hostages. It sounds logical. Return the hostages, and we'll stop. But very few believe this. If these atrocities happen while hostages are still alive, what happens if they're gone? Iran has learned this the hard way. While it negotiated with the U.S., Israel eliminated key diplomats and scientists. Now many wonder, after hostages are released, what stops Israel from escalating further? Qatar is leading current talks. Hamas hasn't rejected the proposal, but wants more safeguards, especially after Iran's losses. But let's focus on this one. Key question: does Hamas represent all 2 million Gazans? Or all the 55,000 killed members of Hamas? Were the 17,000 children? Gaza is now on the edge of starvation. This isn't counterterrorism. This is collective punishment. Even UN aid staff have died. Are they Hamas too? People are dying. From bombs, from hunger, from lack of medicine, and the world is silent. But still, we can't call it genocide? Gaza today resembles a live concentration camp, visible on every screen. The world knows, but pretends not to. If Trump truly wants a Nobel, then let him stop this genocide within a month. I'd support that. Tag it. #Nobel for Trump. #Trump save Gaza, because the Israel-Iran conflict showed one thing. Bloodshed can be stopped if the powerful truly want to stop it. Gaza doesn't need missiles. It needs compassion. So let's raise our voices. Defeat Hamas, but protect civilians. Spare the children. Stop the starvation. End this genocide. Because what's happening now isn't just a conflict. It's a tragedy for all of humanity.